Hey guys, so this video is a summary of Gabbie Hanna's most recent video. So I actually did a video in Gabbie Hanna kind of yesterday, and she always, I said this in my last video and the video before that, she always posts a video right after I post my video, and I don't know if it's a coincidence, but she says that's what Jessie Smiles does to her, and then it just seems like she's doing that to me. I don't know, it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, but every time I post a video that same day, Gabbie Hanna posted a video. So Gabbie Hanna posted her Smiles for the Camera part of her series, which is supposed to be about Jessie Smiles, Smiles for the Camera, you get it. What's interesting is it's called chapter 6.1. It's not called chapter 6, it's not called chapter, whatever. It's called chapter 6.1, which would insinuate to me that there's going to be more parts about Jessie Smiles, which kind of is what we all thought was going to happen. Like, I thought there were going to be more parts because she said there were going to be more parts, and usually if she does a rice gun part, it'd be like part 3 or part 4. She never really did a part 3 point something, and this time it says part 6.1, which would mean that there's going to be a part 6.2 or maybe even a part 6.3. Her likes dislike is turned off and her comments are turned off, like for the last few videos. So in the whole video, she seems to be behaving really weirdly, and like more weird than usual. I feel like with every part she just puts on this weird, I don't know if it's an act or if it's actually the way she's behaving, I'm not sure, but she does weird, like she'll pause and just laugh like really weirdly or really loudly, or she'll start shouting for no reason. I know, it's just really strange behavior. She also makes everything about her. So in the first part of the video, she talked about Prince William and how people are talking about him being bald, and so it'd be like a meme that's like Prince William at 30 versus Jennifer Lopez at 45, and I'd be making fun of him like balding or looking bad subjectively. And she manages to make that about herself as well. She's like, yeah, there's so many little girls that are looking up to me, and then they probably feel really bad about themselves when I get hate. And it's like, it's just yet another thing that I'm like, ugh, just stop the victim blaming. She then mentions Alex James and how he apparently made fun of her nose, said she should get liposuction, said she should get a nose job, lose weight, and then also mentions this story time about how he said he got into a car accident, broke his nose, and then got his nose done, and then apparently he later on admitted that that was fake, and that he'd really just said that so he could get a nose job without getting hate for it. So she mentions that. Not really sure why. Then we have Jessie Smiles. It's like this whole big part about Jessie Smiles. Says her biggest advocate is Alex James, but he did what Gabbie Hanna is being accused of, essentially. That's what she's saying. So if you guys haven't seen this, in Jessie Smiles' video, she mentions how Alex James hung out with Curtis Lepore, but that he had publicly and privately apologized and she had forgiven him. Now, she mentions how Gabbie Hanna has publicly and privately apologized, but then taken everything back the moment she got hate for it. That's the difference. Don't know why Gabbie Hanna's bringing it up again, but it was already addressed. Then she mentions how her and Jessie Smiles weren't ever really close friends, and throughout this whole video, she basically is like, we were never close friends. We only hung out for like a few months. I'm not sure why she keeps on acting like we were best friends. But it really is kind of mind-blowing because she's trying to downplay her friendship with Jessie Smiles in order to make herself look better. But literally a few parts ago in her own series, she was trying to upplay, like basically make her friendship with Trisha Paytas more important to prove a point as well. So it almost seems like she's friends with whoever she's friends with and not friends with whoever she's not friends with to prove a point, more than because she's actually friends / not friends with them. Right now, her argument for why she did what she did to Jessie Smiles is we weren't even that close, and she's sticking with that. But when the whole drama with Trisha Paytas went down, she was like, we were really close friends. That's why I messaged you so many times, because that fit her narrative. It just seems like she says whatever really fits her narrative. She says that she doesn't keep up with Jessie Smiles, didn't even know she was pregnant. Another excuse basically for why she's allowed to do this series, because she didn't even know that Jessie Smiles was pregnant. She also mentions the Gabbie Hanna needs to be stopped video by Jessie Smiles was the first one she filmed and how it ruined her life. She shows private messages between her and Jessie being okay. So even after this video was filmed, her and Jessie were cordial in messages. That's none of my business. I feel like people deal with those kind of situations differently. Some people like confrontation, some people don't. Even if Jessie Smiles had filmed that video because she was frustrated, because Gabbie Hanna was privately messaging fans about personal situations, Jessie made the video. That does not mean that she then wants to have a bigger argument with Gabbie Hanna, so maybe she was just cordial messages because she was cordial in messages. She also mentions how in those private messages, Jessie asked Gabbie for a job. People have different financial situations. Sometimes you do stuff and you sacrifice your morals because you have to make money to feed your child. I don't know what the situation was with Jessie Smiles and a job, okay? I know she now has an editing job for Kathleen. So, that's once again another glimpse of a conversation that we're getting that is part of a bigger picture that we can't see. She calls out Alex James and his lies, says she's going to link a video down below full of like contradictions and lies about Alex James. Not really sure how we need that. Alex James is not the topic of conversation. Alex James is Jessie Smiles' friend who she chose to forgive. That's about as far as Alex James goes in this story. She mentions how Trisha Paytas filmed the video, then the Gabbie Hanna needs to be stopped video was filmed, and then the Alex video came out. So Alex James filmed the video on Gabbie Hanna, and then apparently T channels went along with all of this and how we're all mean girls and she's like the weird kid being pushed into a corner. She actually said that, like she put up a little like edited photo of like mean girls pushing a weird kid into the corner, and she had her face photoshopped on it. It was really weird. She says that she gets death threats and, you know, all of that stuff. I thought that is a reason why the harassment should stop and yada yada yada, which is really interesting because I feel like I don't know a single YouTuber that doesn't get death threats, as bad as that sounds. Like I feel like Gabbie Hanna's not getting death threats because of this whole thing. She's getting death threats because she's a public figure. Like that's literally just what happens. If I go into my DMs, I'm bound to find a few, go kill yourself, you're the most awful person in the world, if I see you I'll beat you up. Like everyone gets it, so I'm not sure if that's a result of this whole situation or just a result of being well-known, famous, whatever it is. Apparently Jessie Smiles always releases exposed videos right as Gabbie Hanna has some kind of a project that she's launching. So there's a music video that Gabbie Hanna released and Jessie released a exposed video on the same day, and then there was another music video and Jessie Smiles released a video the day before. So it's just a few coincidences like that. I could say the same about Gabbie Hanna posting whenever I post. Like, is that a coincidence? She's doing it on purpose? It's kind of a weak point to make because you're literally doing the same thing to me. Like every time I post a Gabbie Hanna video, Gabbie Hanna posts another video. You know? Says that Alex James hurt Gabbie Hanna physically. Now I can't speak to that. There is no proof, no evidence. I'm not here to victim blame, victim shame, or not believe her. But I don't know. I don't know when that happened. She didn't really elaborate on that. She just said that he hurt her physically. Then said that Jessie Smiles hated Alex James in the past the way she now hates Gabbie Hanna. So apparently in the past, Alex James would hang out Curtis Lepore and Jessie would complain to Gabbie about this. And now apparently they're friends. I don't know. I mean, he probably just apologized in between. Like people complain about people, but then they get an apology and they have no more reason to complain. Maybe she thought his apology was good, but yours wasn't. Says that Jessie Smiles had no friends other than Gabbie Hanna. She says this again. She said this previously, and Jessie Smiles said that she had multiple friends actually. So it wasn't like everyone was against her, but Gabbie Hanna tries to make it look like no one was friends with Jessie Smiles, so that it paints her as like the hero, the one that wanted to be friends with her. When in reality she had multiple friends. It just wasn't like the big Viners who wanted to be friends with Curtis Lepore. She then mentions this like story about a rap battle on Vine. There was like this thing where everyone was doing rap battles against each other and calling each other out. So it'd be like a little rapping segment and then you call out the person. And apparently Gabbie Hanna had called out Jessie Smiles and Jessie called her a wannabe and basically sent her fans to attack her. I wasn't around for those days, can't prove this to you guys. She didn't post any evidence of this either, so once again, he said, she said. Then she gets into the Jessie Smiles Curtis Lepore situation. Now, she says, and she gives a justification for why she made the tweets that she made, aka thousands of girls lie about this stuff, you know, oh, you just think you're famous, like TMZ's finally talking about Viners, very disgusting stuff about a crime being committed. She said the reason why Gabbie and her Vine like group chat didn't believe Jessie Smiles because she was a clout chaser. So apparently Jessie Smiles grew to 1 million followers because of her little like interaction with Curtis Lepore on Vine, where they pretended to be dating. They were doing like the fake dating stuff that people do now. Then they met up, and a week later Jessie Smiles basically dumped him and stopped talking to him. Apparently that's the storyline. Because of that, everyone thought that Jessie Smiles was just clout chasing of Curtis Lepore to get to 1 million followers. And then she accused him of a crime. So that means that then Gabbie Hanna went on Twitter and victim blamed Jessie Smiles because she didn't like her or because she thought she was a clout chaser. On top of that, she adds that no one liked Jessie Smiles and that she was a mean girl. Now, all of this is, once again, he said, she said. I don't know any of this. I wasn't there to see it happen. Once again, it also doesn't excuse the things that Gabbie Hanna did. Like someone being a mean girl, someone clout chasing, whether they were clout chasing or not, is not justification for what you said publicly. She also mentions how at the time that she was tweeting those things, her and Jessie weren't friends. She then deleted some of those tweets, met up with Jessie Smiles, apologized to her, they became friends, and then they stopped being friends. What she also misses from that storyline is she made those tweets, which were gross, but Jessie forgave her for those tweets. They became friends, they stopped being friends, and when people brought up those tweets, Gabbie Hanna acted like they didn't exist. So it almost takes back the apology that she made to Jessie Smiles for the tweets because she was downplaying it publicly and was being like, no, I never tweeted those are a lie, those are photoshops. It's like she likes to omit parts of the story to make herself look a little bit better. She then mentions how she moved in with Jessie Smiles and Jessie gave her a key, but then she had like a curfew, and if she wasn't home at a certain time, Jessie would allegedly like threaten to take her key away. Now, I don't know if this was all in person or on phone calls. I'd imagine some of it would probably be in messages, but she doesn't post any of those messages. So once again, he said, she said. She said how she was always accused of social climbing Jessie Smiles and mooching of her. For example, she was always very tight for money. So when Jessie would go out to get like her nails done, she'd be like, hey, come along with me, it'll be really fun. Gabbie would be like, no, I don't really want to spend money on that. Jessie would be like, hey, I'll pay for you anyway. Just come, it'll be really fun. Gabbie would say yes, and then apparently Jessie would throw it back in her face. Once again, I haven't seen it, but apparently that happened. She says, Gabbie said that she's usually friends with these kind of people because she likes narcissists, because she was raised by narcissists and bullies. So she calls other people narcissists. It's very ironic. So then we have Gabbie Hanna meets Jenna Marbles at an event, and Jenna Marbles on her podcast says that Gabbie Hanna was really funny, like really fun to be around, and then they start hanging out. And at that point, her and Jessie aren't really hanging out as much, and whenever Gabbie Hanna messages Jessie, she either ignores her or says, yes, let's meet up, and then ghosts her, allegedly. Once again, no messages to prove this. She says she messaged her multiple times, didn't post any of those messages. It's not from what I saw on the screen. It was flashing pretty quickly and I was taking notes at the same time. So at any point, correct me if I'm wrong. So then when Gabbie started hanging out with Jenna Marbles, Jessie Smiles would finally start messaging her back and was like, hey, let's hang out, whenever Jenna Marbles was on Gabbie Hanna's private stories or stories in general. She was then also hanging out with like a semi-celebrity, kind of like a friend of a friend. And apparently she said to Jessie Smiles that, yeah, I really like her, like I enjoy hanging out with her, but also like the parties are really great, like the parties that she gets invited to because of being friends with this person. Jessie Smiles then says that to someone else, that then gets back to the girl, and the girl messaged Gabbie and says, I can't believe you would use me for parties. Now, Gabbie Hanna is then like bamboozled as to why Jessie Smiles would tell someone that, but you did say, like, we don't know what the tone was of you saying this, like you literally said to Jessie Smiles, and you admitted that you said to Jessie Smiles, I like this girl, but like the parties are really great. Jessie then said that on, and that came back to the girl. You said it was a joke, but like at no point did you then go, haha, I'm kidding. Like you didn't say, as part of your little story, I told Jessie Smiles that I enjoy hanging out with her, but the parties are great. And then I said, haha, I'm just joking. And then Jessie Smiles acted like it was a serious story. You didn't say that. You said, I told her I like this girl, but the parties are really great. And Jessie then went and told that girl. Which, like, yes, she had the right to do that, mainly because you guys weren't really friends at that point, and maybe it's just like, I don't know, she just felt maybe like she owed the girl an explanation, because if you didn't say, haha, I'm joking, that sounds like you're actually being serious and you're using someone for parties. Once again, no proof for that, I don't really know. She's mentions a lawsuit and how she sued everyone, including drama channels. Now, I would definitely consider myself a drama channel, and I've never been sued. Never had a cease and desist, never received anything, so not sure what that is. Maybe she had like a lawsuit planned, but she didn't go through with it. She didn't send a cease and desist, but I definitely didn't receive anything. So, and you think out of all the drama channels, she definitely hates me the most, so I'd definitely receive one. Don't have one. Jessie Smiles and her go to Playlist Live. Apparently Jessie Smiles' mum says to Gabbie, like, thank you for being her only friend, like, thank you for being there for her. Then apparently they go to Playlist Live, they go to the event, and whenever Gabbie Hanna says that she really likes a guy, Jessie Smiles like runs up to him, gives him a kiss. And anytime Gabbie Hanna likes a person, Jessie Smiles goes out of her way to kiss them, or, you know, hook up with them, or go on dates with them. She puts up videos on screen where she mentions Jessie versus the ones where Jessie mentions Gabbie. And I think she said it was something like 9-2. Jessie Smiles said that some of those videos that Gabbie thinks are about her aren't actually about her. So once again, this is like very skewed one way. She mentions how Jessie Smiles blackmailed her. Jessie Smiles already talks about this. She came to that party. Basically, she said to Gabbie Hanna, let's hang out, let's get like drinks, food after this party that you went to. Jessie Smiles was at this party. She had a bit to drink. Gabbie Hanna comes along. Jessie Smiles starts leaving. Gabbie's looking for her. Everyone's like, yeah, Jessie Smiles is like really angry at you. And Jessie Smiles sends a voice note to Gabbie Hanna being like, you're lucky this Uber came, or I would have beat you up. I know I'm laughing, it's a serious matter. Or I would have beat you up. And allegedly that's because Gabbie Hanna went to Jessie Smiles' ex and asked him to do an exposed video on Jessie Smiles together. And Jessie Smiles found this out in between inviting Gabbie to dinner and this party. So she invited her to dinner, she then finds this out, and then she's at this party, gets drunk and threatens Gabbie Hanna. So once again, yes, what Jessie Smiles did wasn't okay, but also then Gabbie Hanna likes to omit parts of the story that add a lot of context to the event. So Jessie Smiles basically, threatens her. And then we also have blackmail allegations when it comes to Gabbie Hanna was filming videos on Jessie Smiles. Jessie Smiles basically says, like, if you don't stop, I'll have to defend myself, and Gabbie Hanna thinks that is blackmail. Gabbie Hanna then says that she's a victim of narcissistic abuse and plays that very iconic, infamous video clip of her podcast where she's screaming, you know, High School Bullies, of that stuff. Yes, she plays that again. She definitely agrees with that. Says that Jessie Smiles has a vendetta against Gabbie Hanna because she always wanted to be a singer or an entertainer, but she never was able to achieve it, and now she's angry at Gabbie Hanna for, I guess, achieving it, which, like, I want to say Gabbie Hanna's career is so amazing that someone will be like super jealous of it. She's an indie singer who films music videos and sings and posts them on YouTube. Like, if Jessie Smiles wanted to do that, she could. So I'm not sure if, I'm not sure what the deal is. And she also, once again, mentions that she lost a record label because of Jessie Smiles and the drama channels. But then I remember one time she said that she lost her record deal because of Trisha Paytas. And then in another video, she said she lost her record deal because she wouldn't play pop songs. She'd only do rock songs. There's now 3 different reasons that she has for missing her record deal. Which one is it? It's almost like she says it whenever it suits her. It's like the friendship thing. It's like, she downplays this friendship because that's what suits her right now, and she like upplayed this friendship because that's what suits her right now. In, I think it was like the BuzzFeed article, she said she lost her record deal because of drama channels, and then in a video she said she lost her record deal because of Trisha Paytas calling her a psychopath. And then in a different video, in this one, she says that she lost her record deal because of Jessie Smiles and the drama channels. Which one is it? And that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below anything you want to comment down below about all of this. Let me know what you guys think. You know, agree, disagree, whatever it is. Subscribe, hit that bell, like, comment for engagement, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.